gosh, being on ice road truckers, I never thought 3 months of my life would change my entire life. It was like, at first, it was like, people were like, oh, you're that girl from ice road truckers.
Who could forget Lisa Kelly? Not your average truck driver. She's a fearless woman who took on some of the world's most dangerous roads and won. But behind the tough exterior lies a story filled with triumph, struggle, and heartbreaking loss. If you think trucking is just about driving trucks, think again. Lisa's journey shows it's about courage, resilience, and breaking barriers. She's faced biting cold, harsh judgment, and unimaginable grief, yet kept moving forward. Buckle up, because Lisa Kelly's story is as raw and real as the frozen highways she's conquered. When tragedy struck, Lisa's story is filled with amazing highs, but also some serious, heart-wrenching moments that many fans never got to see on screen. Lisa has faced challenges that would shake anyone to their core. And yet, through it all, she has kept pushing forward, showing incredible resilience. One of the most painful chapters in Lisa Kelly's life came with the tragic loss of Daryl Ward, a fellow ice road truckers driver and close friend. Daryl wasn't just a colleague on the show, he was someone Lisa deeply respected and cared about. Their bond went beyond the cameras, built on shared experiences navigating the dangerous ice roads and the unique challenges of their profession. Daryl Ward was a beloved figure in the trucking community and on ice road truckers. Known for his rugged personality and no-nonsense approach, Daryl's sudden death in 2016 shocked fans and fellow drivers alike. He died in a plane crash near Rock Creek, Montana, leaving behind family, friends, and a trucking world forever changed. For Lisa, the news was devastating. Losing someone so close and someone who understood the struggles and triumphs of their life on the road was heartbreaking. The trucking community is tight-knit, and losses like this hit hard because the risks are real and ever-present. After Daryl's passing, Lisa had to face not just the emotional pain, but also the challenge of moving forward professionally and personally. She spoke openly about her grief and the difficulty of carrying on without her friend. It was a time of reflection, mourning, and finding strength in the memories they shared. The tragedy brought into sharp focus the dangers these drivers face every day. It reminded everyone that the ice roads are not just a backdrop for reality TV drama. They are real places with real risks. For Lisa, it was a painful reminder that life can change in an instant, and those you trust and admire can be gone before you know it. Despite the loss, Lisa honored Daryl's legacy by continuing to push forward. She kept his memory alive by sharing stories about him and highlighting the importance of safety and respect on the roads. It became a part of her mission to not just be a great driver, but also to raise awareness about the realities and risks of their world. Finding strength. After loss, journey through grief. Losing Daryl Ward was one of the hardest things Lisa Kelly has ever faced. It wasn't just losing a co-worker, it was losing a close friend and a part of the family she found on the road. Grief hit hard and hit deep, and Lisa didn't try to hide it. Instead, she faced it head-on, showing the same kind of strength and honesty that made her a star in the first place. In the months and years after the tragedy, Lisa took the time she needed to heal. Grieving is a messy, non-linear process, and Lisa experienced that fully. Some days were tough. Some days were almost unbearable. But she leaned on the people who loved her, her husband Travis, close friends, and the trucking community that rallied around her. She also found healing through action, staying connected to the trucking world, advocating for safety, and sharing Daryl's story helped give her purpose during a dark time. Instead of shutting down, Lisa channeled her pain into something meaningful. She became an advocate for safer practices on the ice roads and worked to honor the memories of those who had been lost. Lisa's story shows that grief doesn't mean giving up. It means carrying the memory of those we've lost while still finding ways to move forward. She didn't let the tragedy define her, but rather used it to fuel her determination and passion for trucking. This journey wasn't just about personal healing. It was about inspiring others who might be going through their own struggles. Lisa's openness about grief helped many fans and fellow truckers feel less alone. Before all these, as a little girl, growing up in Alaska is no joke. Let's go through her Alaskan journey that made her tough and prepared for the next chapters of her life. Life before hitting the road. Lisa Kelly's story didn't start with trucks or ice roads. She was born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but when she was just 6 years old, her family made a big move that would shape the rest of her life. They headed all the way to Alaska, a place that's wild, beautiful, and absolutely unforgiving. Moving to Alaska at such a young age meant Lisa grew up in an environment where the weather could turn dangerous in minutes, where nature demands respect, and where only the toughest survive. It's cold and snowy for much of the year. The winters can be brutal, and the landscape is rough. But for Lisa, that rugged environment wasn't something to be afraid of. It was a playground and a training ground. She learned early on what it meant to be tough and independent. Her parents encouraged her to be adventurous, and Lisa took that to heart. One of her biggest early passions was motocross racing. For those who don't know, motocross is dirt bike racing on rough off-road tracks filled with jumps and turns. It's fast, intense, and demands a lot of skill and guts. Lisa wasn't just dabbling. She raced seriously and developed skills that would later translate to her trucking career. Racing motocross helped her get comfortable with adrenaline, risk, and keeping calm under pressure. Lisa Kelly's childhood in Alaska wasn't your typical upbringing. Imagine winters that stretch for months, with temperatures dropping well below freezing and snow piling up high enough to bury cars. In a place like that, you either toughen up or get left behind. For Lisa, it was a playground that taught her resilience from day one. Alaska is a land of extremes, endless daylight in the summer and long dark winters in the fall and winter. For a kid like Lisa, that meant adapting to a rhythm of life that was very different from most other places. School days might start in the dark and end in the dark. The roads were often icy or snow-packed, and driving wasn't something you did lightly. Lisa's family embraced the outdoors. They didn't shy away from adventure, hiking rugged trails, camping in remote areas, and, of course, riding dirt bikes. Being active and outdoorsy was just part of life, but it was also about survival, knowing how to dress, how to navigate slippery terrain, how to stay safe when the weather turns deadly fast. These lessons stuck with Lisa and laid the groundwork for what she would face later as a trucker. But Lisa's childhood was about more than just racing dirt bikes. Growing up in Alaska, she was part of a community where hard work and resilience were valued. She spent time outdoors, hiking, exploring, and learning how to handle the kind of conditions that many people never experience. This shaped her character and gave her a sense of confidence that would be crucial later in life. Another big part of her early years was family. Although specific details about her parents and siblings aren't widely publicized, Lisa often talks about how important family support was for her. Moving across the country and adjusting to a new and challenging environment couldn't have been easy, but having a strong support system helped her push through. All these experiences combined to create the foundation for Lisa's future career. She was no stranger to challenges or hard work. She grew up knowing how to push her limits, how to face fears, and how to keep going when things get tough. It wasn't a straight shot from motocross to trucking, though. Like a lot of people, Lisa took some time to figure out what she wanted to do as a career. She tried a few different things and explored different jobs, but trucking kept calling her back. The lure of the open road, the freedom, and the challenge of handling huge rigs in extreme conditions was something that felt right to her. When Lisa finally decided to take the leap into trucking, she knew it wasn't going to be easy. The trucking world is famously tough, and being a woman in a male-dominated field adds even more pressure. But Lisa's upbringing, her motocross experience, and her natural grit made her ready to take it on. Now, motocross might sound a little wild for a young girl growing up in Alaska, but it fit Lisa perfectly. For those unfamiliar, motocross is a form of off-road motorcycle racing over rough terrain and tracks filled with jumps, sharp turns, and obstacles. It's fast-paced, requires excellent reflexes, and is downright dangerous if you're not careful. Lisa wasn't just a casual rider. She raced competitively and held her own in a male-dominated sport. That took courage and a willingness to push limits, both physical and mental. The focus, quick decision-making, and control she developed riding motocross translated directly to her future trucking career. When you're barreling down an icy road in a massive rig, having nerves of steel and lightning-fast reflexes can make all the difference. Motocross also taught Lisa about risk. In a sport where falling or crashing is common, you learn how to manage fear and keep moving forward even when things get tough. That mindset helped her when she faced the dangerous and unpredictable conditions of the ice roads. Getting behind the wheel. Once Lisa decided trucking was her calling, she dove in head first. But trucking is not something you just jump into overnight, especially when you're a woman stepping into a field packed mostly with guys. For Lisa, the path wasn't exactly smooth or easy, but she was ready to prove herself. Her first trucking jobs were like most rookies, learning the ropes, logging miles, and getting comfortable with the massive rigs. Driving a semi isn't like driving a car. You're handling 80,000 pounds of steel. And when you're doing it in remote areas or harsh weather, the pressure is on all the time. Lisa had to build her skills fast and earn respect, which wasn't always easy. Some people doubted her just because she was a woman, but she wasn't about to let that stop her. Lisa's big break came when the producers of Ice Road Truckers were scouting for drivers who could bring something real and compelling to the show. They wanted people who were skilled, but also had personality and grit. Lisa fit the bill perfectly. She was already trucking in Alaska and had that genuine tough girl vibe that made viewers sit up and take notice. Being on the show was a game changer for Lisa. It wasn't just about driving trucks anymore. It was about handling the added pressure of cameras rolling while navigating some of the deadliest roads on the planet. The ice roads that Lisa drove on weren't your typical highways. They were frozen lakes, river crossings, and remote routes where a single mistake could be fatal. The show captured that tension perfectly, and Lisa's calm yet fearless approach made her one of the standout stars. Filming Ice Road Truckers was grueling. The production crews followed the drivers for long stretches, filming in freezing temperatures with unpredictable weather. Lisa often talks about how physically demanding the job was. The trucks would shake and rattle, and the drivers had to be alert every second to avoid disaster. Yet despite all that, Lisa's love for the job and for the challenge shone through. What made Lisa's story even more special was that she wasn't just there to compete with the guys. She was showing what women could do in trucking. She became a role model for women who had never imagined themselves in the driver's seat of a big rig. Lisa proved that skill, determination, and heart mattered more than gender. Her time on the show wasn't just about work either. Fans got to see a bit of her personality, her humor, her kindness, and her down-to-earth attitude. That made her feel real and relatable. Over time, Lisa became more than a trucker on TV. She became an inspiration. But behind this popularity is a woman who was also trying to live a normal life. Life off the road. While Lisa Kelly became a household name for her tough persona on ice road truckers, there was a softer, more personal side of her that not many fans got to see on camera. Behind the wheel and in front of the cameras, Lisa was all about trucking and adventure. But when the day's work was done, her personal life was where she found balance and peace. One of the biggest parts of Lisa's personal story is her marriage to Travis Kelly. The two tied the knot in 2008, and it was clear that they shared a strong bond. Travs, who is also connected to the trucking world, understood the unique challenges Lisa faced on the road. Having a partner who knew the lifestyle and pressures of trucking made a huge difference in her life. Their relationship wasn't just about support through the hard times. It was about sharing the ups and downs of life together. Lisa has spoken in interviews about how important it was.
And he's the only house I've been to. So me and my husband took our dirt bikes and we went to Todd's house and rode dirt bikes with him and his wife.
For her to have someone who could stand by her side through the crazy schedules, long hours, and sometimes dangerous work conditions. That kind of partnership isn't always easy to find, especially with a career as demanding as hers. Lisa's relationship with her husband, Travis Kelly, is a cornerstone of her personal life. The two married in 2008, and their partnership is built on mutual respect and understanding. Travis knows firsthand the challenges that come with a life on the road. This shared experience has helped them support each other through the highs and lows of trucking life and beyond. Being married to someone who understands the unique pressures of long hauls and unpredictable schedules isn't something every trucker gets to experience. For Lisa, this meant having a partner who could be her rock during stressful times and her biggest cheerleader when things were going well. Their relationship showcases the importance of having strong support systems in tough careers. Outside of trucking and her relationship, Lisa also enjoyed hobbies that helped her unwind and express herself. Whether it was spending time outdoors, riding dirt bikes like she did growing up, or simply relaxing with family and friends, Lisa made sure to carve out moments of normalcy amid the chaos of her busy life. Balancing fame, work, and personal time isn't easy. The reality TV spotlight can be intense, and Lisa did her best to keep a healthy boundary between what fans saw on screen and what was private. She valued her privacy and worked hard to protect her personal space, even as her public profile grew. This balance of being tough and independent on the road, while also nurturing close relationships and personal interests, is part of what makes Lisa's story so relatable. She wasn't just a trucker. She was a real person dealing with the same kinds of life challenges we all face: love, loss, ambition, and finding happiness in a demanding world. Women in trucking and Lisa's fight to be taken seriously. Trucking has long been one of those industries where men outnumber women by a huge margin. For decades, the stereotype was simple: trucking is a man's job. It's tough, dirty, dangerous, and requires long hours away from home. And somehow, many people thought women couldn't handle it. Lisa Kelly came into this world of big rigs and long hauls ready to challenge every stereotype out there. But that didn't mean the road was easy. From day one, she faced skepticism and doubt just because she was a woman. Some co-workers wondered if she could handle the physical demands. Others questioned whether she could keep up with the grueling schedule or handle the mental pressure. Unfortunately, skepticism was, and still is, a real challenge in trucking. Lisa's response? She let her driving do the talking. Every mile she logged, every tricky route she conquered, proved her critics wrong. But it wasn't just about showing she could drive. It was about proving women belong in trucking on every level, from driving to leadership. Her success on ice road truckers was especially important because millions of people saw a woman not only doing the job, but excelling at one of the most dangerous forms of trucking out there. That visibility helped change minds and inspired other women to consider trucking as a career. The culture shock and tough work environment. The trucking industry isn't just male-dominated. It's also known for being tough and sometimes unwelcoming to newcomers, especially women. Lisa talked about how she sometimes felt like she was constantly proving herself, needing to work harder than her male counterparts just to be taken seriously. Some of the challenges she faced were practical: truck stops and restrooms not designed with women in mind, dealing with harassment or dismissive attitudes, and the mental toll of being the only woman in the room or on the road. On top of that, the physical demands of climbing in and out of trucks, handling heavy equipment, and managing emergency situations made it a challenge for anyone. Lisa's journey wasn't just about personal success, it was part of a bigger movement toward making trucking more inclusive and supportive for women. She's spoken about the importance of mentorship and community among women truckers, encouraging new drivers to support each other. After enduring some of the toughest moments in her life, Lisa Kelly didn't step away from the trucking world for long. Instead, she found her way back behind the wheel with even more passion and purpose. Back in the driver's seat, the road had always been her calling, and no amount of hardship was going to keep her from it. In recent years, Lisa has continued to take on trucking projects and stay connected with fans through social media. She shares glimpses of her life on the road and off, keeping that genuine, down-to-earth vibe that made so many people admire her in the first place. Her followers appreciate how real she is, whether she's talking about the challenges of trucking or celebrating the small victories. But Lisa's influence goes beyond just trucking and entertainment. She's become a vocal advocate for women in the industry, encouraging more women to take the wheel and break into a field that can still feel intimidating. Her journey has shown that trucking isn't just a man's world, it's a place for anyone with the drive and skill to succeed. Safety remains a big focus for Lisa. After losing friends and seeing the dangers up close, she works to promote safer practices and raise awareness about how risky the job can be. She understands that the ice roads are unforgiving and wants every driver to get home safely. Lisa Kelly's story is inspiring because it's about resilience and heart. From a little girl in Alaska who loved motocross to a star on ice road truckers, and through heartbreaking loss, she has kept moving forward. She has shown that strength isn't just about muscles or grit. It's about the courage to keep going when life gets tough. Her legacy lives on in the trucking community and beyond. She's not just a trucker, she's a role model, a trailblazer, and a reminder that with determination and spirit, you can overcome even the hardest roads. Ice Road Truckers. Ice Road Truckers wasn't just a reality show about driving trucks, it was a full-on, edge-of-your-seat look at one of the most extreme jobs in the world. And for Lisa Kelly, being part of this show meant she wasn't just trucking, she was putting her skills and nerves on display for millions of viewers. The ice roads Lisa drove on were far from normal highways. These routes were carved out over frozen lakes, rivers, and swamps, mainly in Canada and Alaska. The ice could be anywhere from a few inches thick to several feet, and it was constantly changing with the weather. One wrong move or a sudden crack could mean disaster, not just a broken truck, but lives at risk. The conditions were brutal. Temperatures often plunged to 40 or 50 degrees below zero. Winds howled, and visibility could disappear in a snowstorm. Drivers had to be extremely careful, watching for thin spots in the ice, and constantly adjusting their speed and route to stay safe. The show's production crew faced the same extreme conditions as the drivers. Cameras rolled through blizzards, freezing rain, and near whiteout conditions. Lisa talked about how challenging it was to focus on driving when cameras were constantly on her, and when the cold made even the simplest tasks tougher. Imagine trying to climb in and out of a truck with frostbite creeping in, or having to deal with equipment that froze solid. Despite all that, Lisa loved the challenge. She enjoyed the thrill of the job and the camaraderie among the drivers. The show captured not just the danger, but also the personality and humor of the people behind the wheel. Lisa's calm and confident style made her a fan favorite. Lisa's time on Ice Road Truckers gave viewers unforgettable moments, from tense crossings over fragile ice to the everyday struggles of keeping a massive rig running in the cold. Fans loved watching her handle situations with steady nerves, whether it was navigating a tricky bend or helping a fellow driver in trouble. One thing the show did well was showing the real dangers. There were breakdowns, near misses, and tough decisions about when to push forward and when to pull back. For Lisa and the other drivers, it was about balancing the job's demands with their own safety. More than just a show, Ice Road Truckers wasn't just a TV show. It was a window into a world most people could barely imagine. Lisa Kelly and her fellow drivers weren't acting or staging drama. They were real people doing one of the most dangerous jobs on the planet. That authenticity is what made the show so captivating. Filming wasn't easy. Drivers like Lisa had to keep up their work schedule, deal with extreme weather, and perform under the pressure of knowing cameras were recording every move. It wasn't just about trucking skills. It was about staying composed when every second counted. Lisa's personality helped bring the show to life. She had a way of balancing toughness with warmth. Fans loved that she was down to earth, relatable, and unafraid to show her emotions. Whether she was dealing with a breakdown or sharing a laugh with her fellow drivers, Lisa made viewers feel connected. The show also highlighted the brotherhood and sisterhood among the drivers. These weren't just co-workers. They were people who looked out for each other in a dangerous environment. For Lisa, that sense of community was vital. It helped her push through the tough days and stay motivated. Becoming a reality TV star brought its own challenges. Suddenly, Lisa's life wasn't just about driving trucks. It was about being a public figure. Fans recognized her on the road and at stops, and she had to learn how to balance privacy with attention. Despite the spotlight, Lisa stayed grounded. She wasn't interested in fame for fame's sake. What mattered to her was the trucking and the message she could send, showing that women can succeed in tough, male-dominated industries. The show also opened doors for Lisa. She got to meet fans, speak at events, and inspire people who never thought trucking was an option for them. But through it all, she never lost sight of what made her love the job in the first place: the challenge, the adventure, and the freedom of the open road. The end of an era. Ice Road Truckers was a massive hit, running for over a decade and drawing millions of viewers fascinated by the extreme conditions and the larger-than-life personalities like Lisa Kelly. But like all good things, the show eventually had to wind down. The show originally started in 2007, at a time when reality TV was booming and audiences were hungry for something raw and adventurous. Ice Road Truckers delivered just that. Gritty, real stories of survival on frozen highways that most people didn't even know existed. Over the years, it showcased different routes, new drivers, and evolving challenges, keeping the excitement fresh. However, as the years went by, the ice road trucking industry itself began to change. Climate shifts led to shorter ice seasons, and economic factors changed the flow of goods and trucking demand. This meant fewer opportunities for the kind of risky ice road trucking that had made the show so dramatic. The show's ratings also began to decline, a common trend for long-running series. After 11 seasons, the producers decided to end Ice Road Truckers in 2017. It wasn't just about the ratings, it was also about the reality of the trucking routes becoming less accessible and the novelty wearing off. For Lisa Kelly, the end of the show was bittersweet. Ice Road Truckers had given her a platform, a community, and a sense of purpose. It had made her a household name and allowed her to break barriers for women in trucking. But she was also ready to move on and focus on the next chapters in her life. Though the cameras stopped rolling, Lisa's love for trucking never faded. She kept driving, sharing her experiences with fans through social media, and advocating for the trucking community. The end of the show marked the close of one chapter, but the beginning of many more in her life. Ice Road Truckers left a lasting legacy. It changed the way people saw truckers, brought attention to the dangers of the ice roads, and inspired a new generation to appreciate this tough profession. For Lisa Kelly, it was more than a TV gig. It was a life-changing experience that shaped who she is today. She is way more than just a TV personality or a great driver. She's a symbol of strength, grit, and breaking barriers in a field that has traditionally been dominated by men. What a wild journey from her early years to her rise on the show, the personal and professional hardships she's endured, including a tragic loss that rocked the trucking community, and how she keeps inspiring others with her courage and determination. Thanks for sticking till the end. Catch you in the next one.